The word iota has two distinct meanings. As a noun, 1, a tiny or scarcely detectable amount. 2, the ninth letter of the Greek alphabet.
Welcome to IoTA for Monday, August 22nd, 2016. I'm Tony Lynn. IoTA is a daily news podcast focused on the Internet of Things industry and a little bit of Atlanta whenever I get a chance. All right, let's get started. Hope everybody had a great weekend. There's a lot of IoT news over the weekend. Let's get right to it. Stephen Lawson of IDG News reports that Intel has a tiny chip that could help monitor fragile packages. The IA32 mote is small enough to get lost in a jar of pepper. Pretty small. Chip gets power from a Wi-Fi network and can sense motion and temperature. It records everything to a local gateway that is responsible for broadcasting data to the cloud. All right, so let me explain this a little bit. So basically, it's almost a nano chip that can be either incorporated into a package or into like a packing slip, sometimes even a sticker. It can just go onto the package itself, and that means that then each individual package itself can be monitored for breakage or temperature or whatever the case may be, particularly in say the case of food or something else. The good and bad about it is that it doesn't require its own power. In fact, it actually leaches power from the Wi-Fi network that's around it. But that then also means there must be a Wi-Fi network around it. So in a case of shipping in containers across country or whatever that might work or may entail, that means that the device or the vehicle itself would have to have some form of a Wi-Fi network or some network that it can not only pull power from, but it can also broadcast to. And then it requires, of course, a gateway, i.e. the Wi-Fi network, to then broadcast out to a larger location. Pretty cool idea. I think I've seen a lot of this here recently, both from our personal and professional relationships, to see how this is going to transpire. But the fact that it can just pull power, it doesn't actually need to be powered on its own, I think is phenomenal. The fact that it can do all this stuff is great. Now, if they can just get them where they can start, capturing for bacteria, then that would be awesome. Oh, and to follow up with that, more small news. Kate Lawrence writes in ReadWrite that smart dust may be the IoT vector of the future. Scientists at UC Berkeley have developed a neural dust that can be implanted into the human body and used to monitor internal nerves, muscles, and organs in real time. These sensors are about the size of a grain of sand, actually even smaller than the other one we just talked about, and contain a piezoelectric crystal that converts ultrasound vibrations into electricity. The voltage spike then in the fiber changes the echo detected by the ultrasound receiver, which can be converted into data. So if you've ever done any sort of research on like MRIs or some of the other type electric sensing type applications, so like an MRI, it's basically shooting magnetic waves through the body, and based off of how those waves change from the sender to the receiver, scientists have been able to now create really realistic looking images inside of the body. So this is basically the same type of technology where now you're inserting into the body something that reacts internally to an ultrasound that creates electricity, that by then creating electricity varies the way that the received data looks like. And so now they can use that to start to generate real-time visions of what's going on inside of a human body without having to put you into an MRI machine. So just imagine the functionality that this may have. Now, some questions I have obviously are, I didn't realize my camera was off. Some questions I would have is based off the fact that, do you need to get rid of this afterwards, or does it stay in the body forever? And if it does, are there any problems long term? What happens if you get injected with more than one type of these? I don't know. There's certainly some science fiction type questions there that we could answer. All right, a trio of IT companies, Emerson Network Power, Lenovo, and OSLSoft, are creating a new standard for data centers that hasten IoT-oriented data centers, writes Chris Primesberger in eWeek. While this is not a new idea, the new standard is actually designed to connect everything inside of the data center so that it can be monitored real time. In effect, it is using the premise behind IoT to build smart data centers specifically for IoT. IoTception. You know, I'll come back to that in just a second, but you know, many of us who've worked in this industry for a while, you know, it used to be SNMP and then IPMI, and I'm not going to explain those to you. You either know them or you don't. But both of those standards are truly outdated these days, and this new standard that they're talking about actually, allows for more effective and efficient management of the systems, particularly in real time, and also gives developers the ability to monitor those things remotely outside of the data center itself. So kind of coming back to the IoTception idea is that IoT is really about collecting data, and how do you collect the data in a smart way to make real world decisions on it. So now they're building data centers that are completely monitored to the point where everything is known at the same time, usually through some device, or because of the components within either the computers themselves, the power racks within them, the network connectivity, the routers, the hubs, the firewalls. Everything's connected, and everything inside of those is now connected as well. So imagine you got a server, and not only is the server able to tell you the health of it, but so would be the 2 power supplies that are within the server, and the 8 disks that are there, and the connectivity that's coming in and out of it. Everything's just monitored to the point where you can actually see what's going on in real time. And they're doing this specifically so that they can keep up with the demands of IoT. I just find it fascinating. I like that. I think this is an awesome thing. Again, more data. The more data you have, the better ability you have to actually act upon it. Although, we've had articles that said, hey, too much data is not a good thing. All right, Nathan Eddy reports that IoT and big data analytics are currently driving M&A in Information Week. Now, he said there's been 28 deals at or above the $1 billion mark in the second quarter of 2016, and the IoT deals that were part of that were mostly in sensors, connected cars, and security firms. We've actually reported on several of these already. From the standpoint of companies like Verizon buying up, Fleetmatics, and some others very specific around both, ag tech as well as, fleet management and connected cars, obviously. His estimation is that this is not going to slow down, and that right now the 28 deals that were done, and the 28 deals were not all specifically to IoT, obviously, but the 28 deals that are done, the fact of it is that it's the biggest M&A quarter in the history of M&A. So I don't really know what that means, but it sounds pretty cool. And then to support that last story, Compucom Systems acquires Extensis IoT business. Compucom picked up the AXT IoT division of Extensis. And the quote is, we now have an unmatched opportunity to offer clients innovative IoT services with a robust set of offerings and one of the largest field technician teams in North America, said Compucom CEO Don Doctor. With more than 6.4 million IoT devices in operation today, and that number expected to grow to 20.8 billion by 2020, according to Gartner, we see a massive opportunity to help support our clients' operations. As we say, anything with a chip, sensor, or plug eventually needs to be supported or optimized, and Compucom is uniquely qualified to provide that on-demand value to our clients. The addition of Extensis IoT business to the Compucom family further extends that capability. So again, just more companies being purchased that completely support this. I'm sure we'll have another one next week. Happens all the time. All right, guys, that's it for today. If you're enjoying the show, you like what's going on, and you want to provide some feedback to me, please send me any feedback that you have or story ideas to my email address at tunamock@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter at Tunamock, or any of my my myriad projects at www.tunamock.com. If you're enjoying the podcast and you want to see it continue and flourish, feel free to support us. We would love your support, and you can visit that at patreon.com/Tunamock. All right. Later this week, we should have our first interview show out. And as soon as I do, or as soon as I know when it's going to happen, I'll actually let you know, and we can watch it all live. Until tomorrow, have a great day.